go. Hi everyone. It's Friday. Oh my god. You know what's stopping me now? My drink water app. I can't believe that just happened. Hi everyone, it's Ola Sulaiman. Today on this live show, I'll be talking about your pay slips or your the tax that you pay. And you may want to ask yourself, like, why should I worry about what I'm paying for tax? After all, they just make the deduction, it doesn't matter. However, it's two reasons. It's either you're paying too much tax at the moment, that means HMRC is deducting so much, or you're paying too less, which is not good. And that means HMRC will come for you. So, on this live show today, if you're joining me, thank you so much. My name is Ola Sulaiman. And this show, this lunch with Tax Girl, is one that we do every Friday now, just to enlighten more people about their tax issues. I'm a chartered accountant, and I've been advising individuals and businesses about their tax issues for the past 10 years, but I've been running my own business for the past 6 years, almost 6 years. So I've heard loads of stories, I've seen loads of cases. And what makes it very, very difficult at times is, apart from helping businesses to help their business grow by doing all their compliance issues, at times I deal with tax investigation, and I see how HMRC come for people so badly. So because of that, I'm always doing the good man and bad man. However, the first 10 minutes, the plan for this live show is, I'll first of all talk about something that is happening. So today I'll talk about our teachers. I know the school holiday is coming very soon, and some of us are nervous because obviously, apart from the fact that we have to look for alternative childcare, however, teachers are very, very important. And for me, I can tell you about so many teachers that I've had in the past year, but the one I would like to talk about is my tax lecturer several years ago. This lady, I can't even remember her name now. When I was writing my finals in my ACC, then one of my friends suggested I did financial management advance, and that was the best one. That tax was too difficult, and I went for that anyway. After failing that like 2 or 3 times, I decided I was going to try tax, and I think that's the best decision ever made in my lifetime. So I entered this class, and this lady, very petite, as in she just made tax look so simple, and she was just jumping here and there. It made a class so fun, and since that day I was like, oh my god, when I finish this qualification I want to do more in tax. So because of that, our children, we love them because they're our own. No matter how bad they are or good they are, they're our children, we love them. However, children that it's not really theirs, it's a career, and they would definitely have good days and bad days. So this show today, this lunch show today, is dedicated to all the teachers out there. I hope you enjoy your holiday, 6 weeks. We're counting already because we can't wait to get the children back to you. Especially today, I'd like to say thank you to all the teachers in Standards BAM Primary School in Northampton. Especially Miss Butterworth. I'm sure you wouldn't hear this, but maybe you're never too sure. But all the staff there are fantastic, and my daughter's teachers in Northampton School for Girls as well. So cheers to all the teachers. Thank you. We appreciate everything we do. So I'll come back to today's show, which is talking about payslip. I've literally printed a payslip here. Hope you can see it. I've tried to scribble out away all the personal information on it. And worst in these days is, some of us even get our payslip, we don't even open it. There was this lady that called me recently, and she was really, really panicking, and she said, oh, I've been getting my payslips, I never open it, I just said, oh, it's been received, and I don't bother about it. And all of a sudden, she went to go and do a mortgage, and then she had to go and open the payslip that has been sent to her. And the payslip has been done wrongly for several years, for several months rather. Now, if you're still within the same tax year, you might be lucky enough to go and get angry with the department, and they will change it for you. However, it's more difficult when you are in another tax year. So it's very important, if you're an employee, to always check your payslip. People make mistakes all the time, and I think the reason why it's so difficult, I know HMRC, they're doing so much these days. pay slips and payroll when I first started this career was totally different. And now they're doing different things to make sure that your tax is being calculated correctly. But there's still a problem, and it's not really a problem, it's just because human beings are involved. It's a human being that will impute your name, your national insurance, your address, the right tax code, the national insurance number, the pension deduction, everything. They'll input it if you pay student loan or postgraduate loan. So there's still that element of error. And payroll, dealing with payroll is very, very, very funny because it's what you put in that you get out. So if I put a wrong information in, you're definitely getting the wrong information. And later on, somebody will notice that you've done the wrong thing or you've done the right thing. And what I usually tell everybody that get in contact with is, baby girl, hello. Everyone, if you want to say hello, I'm waving at you already. Thank you so much for joining. So what I usually say is, at the end of the day, it's your personal tax. It's not your employer's responsibility. The only thing your employer is doing is running the payroll. That's what they should be doing. That's the right thing to do. But your personal tax is your responsibility. I know someone recently that had to pay HMRC back about 3,005 plus. And the reason is because the amount that was owed was accumulated over a period of time, and there was no way for them to apply it to a tax code. So because of that, then he has to pay, or you have to make an arrangement to pay, whichever way it is. So on this payslip that I've got here now, the first part, most of them look alike most of the time. Your national insurance will be there, your name written the way you want it to be there has to be there. Now, the number of hours you've done, check if they've inputted the right numbers of hours because you actually might be underpaid. Now, the issue with this lady I spoke earlier about was the rate that she was being paid with. So there's this tax avoidance thing that is going on, and this lady was being paid a lower rate because somebody was trying to avoid tax somehow. And now this lady had to prove that she was earning so much. She did not ask them to do that, and that was done. And if she checked her pay slip, she'll have noticed that the wrong rate was used. So rather than using like £25 for her, they were using like £7.96. And imagine you trying to prove to mortgage person that you earn a lot, and then you go with a pay slip of £7.96. How do you do that? And I told her, I said, it's your fault. You got the pay slip and you didn't have a look at it. Then that would go to total amount to be definitely the same. Then you go to the other side, which is deduction. We have the paye tax, which is the tax you're supposed to be paying, the employee NI. On that deduction side, you have everything that is being deducted from your money before they pay you. So like, for example, if you receive student loan, that will be done, postgraduate loan these days, and pension deductions as well. Now, on the bottom bit, I'm just explaining what a pay slip looks like initially, then I'll go into more details. Your taxable pay, total taxable pay, will be the total amount you've received in the tax year, that particular tax year. So for this particular person now, the total taxable amount that is being paid is 1,248. So you need to check that as well to make sure that total is correct as well. So you have the total to year taxable payee that you've paid, your employer NI and your employee NI. And underneath there you have the tax code. I'll explain everything. Usually we're always more interested in this net pay. What am I getting? What's my take home? But that's even the last thing you should be worrying about. So that takes me to the main thing intel. So far I've talked about the deductions. We have the tax deducted, we have the national insurance, we have the student loan or postgraduate loan. However, if your employer does not know that you've collected all this loan, they will just run a proper payroll for you. Now, HMRC would send them a letter and say, this person is paying, this person has received student loan. But since some employer would just get the letter and still not adjust it on their system, and at the end of the day, you'll be owing tax because you've overpaid, you've underpaid tax. So now, I don't know how to explain your payslip in 30 minutes or 20 minutes, but I'm going to try as much as possible and talk about the right things. And because I messed up my time last week, I've literally written down everything I'm talking about today just to make sure that the most important things are talked about. So the first one, the most important thing on your payslip is your tax code. And in this one is shown here, tax code 1250L. For most people in UK, your tax code should be 1250L. If it's more, that means that, let's say it's 1300L, that means you're paying lesser tax. But still you should be inquisitive and wonder why you are. So the tax code, this is how the tax code is gone. Every tax year, or when they do the finance bill, everything, they announce what personal allowance is going to be. Now, the personal allowance is a tax-free amount that everybody in UK is entitled to. You'll be surprised, even the children as well. So as long as you live and you collect money in UK, you're entitled to it. So if you work less than 12,500 in a tax year, you don't pay tax at all. If you're self-employed and you've earned 12,500, you don't pay, your profit is 12,500, you don't pay any tax at all. So now what the payroll does is it divides the 12,500 by 12 and then allocates each month the tax-free amount. So for example, if you decide to go and start working with me today, I'll run the payroll for you at the end of July. That means you join me in July. What the payroll will do, the software will do is we'll divide July, I think it's 9 months since April now, April, May, oh, I can't count. It will not calculate 12 months. However, it will calculate from July downwards. That means it's assuming that no matter what happens, you're using your personal tax code all through the year. So what happens when you leave a job in the middle, before the end of the tax year, April? Most likely you've paid too much tax at some point through the year because the software has imagined or believed that you're going to be working all through the year. So because of that, that's why some of us get tax refunds, maybe when we stop working at that particular place or we move on. She's showing me the time. Oh my God. All right, okay. So when you look at your tax code, what you need to do is, so for this year that is 1250L, all they've done is just taken the zero part out of it. So if yours is 878, that means you're only allowed, your tax-free amount is 8,800. And that means you're enjoying 8780 times 20%. Now, I know I said earlier on that everybody enjoys personal allowance. I think I lied about that. Anybody that earns more than £100,000 in a year, as soon as they reach £100,000, their personal allowance start reducing until they've enjoyed or until it's totally scrapped out. So I'm talking about people that have not earned 100,000. So then you need to be sure that that tax code is correct. If you're working in two places, you need to be sure that it's just one tax code that you're using, not two. I've seen this happen a lot all the times. All the time, people would come and they'll have 1250L in two employments. And because of that, you've enjoyed free tax in another one and you're owing HMRC. Now, in the olden days, you say, oh, I'll get away with it. But now, in 2019, they'll literally find you and you pay the money back. Now, if it's money that you're owing this year, what they will do is probably adjust your tax code for next year. However, if you've accumulated it from 2015, 16, 17, they will tell you, no, we can't do that. You need to pay that money. And I say this all the time. HMRC is our royal majesty. So you can't escape. You'd have to pay that money no matter what happens. Even if you're 60 years old, you still pay it. I don't know. So tax code is very, very important. Now, one thing I noticed recently is if you're earning, so everybody that is earning up to £50,000 in a year, your percentage will be 20%. Now, for some other people that now have jobs other places, and most likely first one you're going to be, let's say you're about 38 or 34,000 or 40,000, and all of a sudden the other job they're using BR tax code. BR tax code means they're just using 20%. As soon as you go over the 50%, you're supposed to be paying tax at 40%. So because of that, I've seen people owing money because they've got 2 jobs and then they've underpaid tax in one and then they're owing HMRC. So this tax code usually can be adjusted. Like I said, most people would be 1 to 5OL. But if you pay subscription, it will be added to your tax code. It takes it up. If you uniforms expenses, please don't go AY about it. I usually tell people, like, if you want to say I'm washing my clothes for £1,000, you need to be able to prove properly that you're washing your clothes £1,000. So I usually ask everybody to just use the flat rate. With the flat rate, you don't need to prove anything. You just get it. Now, your tax code can be increased as well if you pay charity, if you give to charity, and you are earning more than 50,000. If you are in a pension scheme, that's a pension, pension scheme, it can also be extended. Now, what can make your tax code go down? If you're owing HMRC from previous years. Number 2, if you are collecting car benefit, your company that you're working for is providing you a car. The most common one is medical insurance, and it will be adjusted. However, I think to just move on from here, if your tax code is looking abnormal from everything I've said so far, please call HMRC. I know HMRC is not going to like me for this, but call them on 0300 200 3300. Don't call them during the day, please. Except you're doing something else and you just put your phone on the side and go on, because you might be there forever. But call in the evening or first thing in the morning and tell them that you want to understand why your tax code is different from others. So it's better to be safe than to be sorry, and that's why we're doing this. Now, national insurance. So I explain this to everybody all the time. What's my time now? Let me just see my time. Okay, I'm still on time. Okay. National insurance. Now, as I'm talking, I'll be talking too much. If you have any questions, you can just post the questions. I'll leave 5 minutes after that. We'll talk about the questions. General questions, not things that would show that you're the one that asked the question, because I'm on live and this will be uploaded on YouTube later on, so you don't want to be talking about your life on Instagram and Facebook. So national insurance, there are 2 types of national insurance. As you can see on this pay slip, there's one here showing employees national insurance, and there's one showing employers national insurance. Basically, what that means is every time you work for an employer, let's say £1,000, employer would pay you 13.8% of that £1,000 into your national insurance pot. That's £138. Then for you, after the adjustment and calculation, you'd pay 12% on the excess that will go to your national insurance pot. So that's why employees, they enjoy all this national. They usually have a nice pot at the end because their employer pays into their national insurance. If you want to know how much national insurance you've got so far, it's very easy. You can set yourself on your personal tax account, and then you can know how much you've done so far. Help by, if I've got problem with the voice, I don't know if I'm loud enough, but I'm just rambling by myself. So now, if you are an employee, like I said, you receive 2 lots. However, there are different ways of calculating. There's bands of when you calculate it. So for weekly payments, if you've not earned up to £166 in a week in this tax year 2019-20, no national insurance will be deducted from you. So let's say I've earned £150. I earn £150 weekly from what I'm doing now. I don't have any national insurance deducted, just because you're below the band. However, let's say I'm earning £200 in this job. That means I've gone over the £166. What the software will then do is will deduct £200 minus the £166, and then I'll pay national insurance at 12% on the difference. I think I did a bit of math yesterday. So 200 minus 166 will give us 34, and 12% of that will be £4.08. So that will be the national insurance that will be deducted from your payslip. Now, your employer does not use any bank; they have to pay 13.8% of the 166 of the £200. So that means you have the £4 that is from yours, and you have the 13.8% from the employers, and that keeps going on like that. Now, if you're monthly paid, as in if you're in employment that you're monthly paid, that one, if you have not earned up to £966 in a month for this 2019-20 tax year, no national insurance is deducted from you. That's for employee now. That means if I earn £900, my employer would run the payroll and then no deduction because I've not gone over the threshold. Now, because directors own the business and they can move things around the way they want it to be, directors are different. We use the yearly one for that one, and that's a very common mistake. I see people that run their payroll themselves too. That one, until you've actually earned £8,162 in a year, no deduction is taken. Now, going back to so I know it's very, very rare for you to pay too much national insurance. In fact, in the olden days, it was rare, and when it happened, HMRC will return the money to you. The reason is because it's a kind of non-tax savings for future, and they don't want people to manipulate the system, the people that have a lot, and then start putting those in. Now you say, what about if I'm just earning £150, like I said earlier, weekly, or £900 monthly, and I still want to put money into my national insurance pot because I'm worried about future? You can actually pay by using your class 3 national insurance. That's voluntary national insurance. You'd call HMRC and say, I want to do voluntary national insurance. You tell them the amounts and they set the direct debits, and that would go automatically into your national insurance pot. I know I'm talking too much. What's the time now? Oh God, it's almost time. Now, if you earn less than 20%, if you earn less than £50,000, like I said, in this tax year, what they'll do is, or what the software will do is, it will take out your £12,500, like I said earlier on, and then you pay tax at 20%. Now, if you earn between 50,000 and 150,000, your first 20% will be, your first 50,000 will be at 20%, and the excess would, no matter how long it's, so let's say 100,000 now, you pay 40% tax. If you now earn over 150,000, you never know, then your tax is at 45%. Apart from that, you don't even pay personal allowance. You don't receive personal allowance, so you pay a lot. That's why at times when I see people talking about footballer earning 300,000, 500,000, I just smile. I'm just like, oh God, HMRC is smiling to the bank. Although I'm sure they'll do different things to make them pay less tax, whichever way it is. They're still paying tax at 45%. Yeah, we all have to pay tax. So the next one is pension, and I think that'll be the last one before I just stop talking, because too much information might be too much. So another thing that your employer might do is to, if you decide to be on the pension, they will take out pension from you every month. And also not just that, then they themselves would contribute towards your pension. So that one is just your pensionable earning. Now, if you have not earned up to, so what they do is your pensionable earning starts from 6,132, and then that will be divided just the way the tax code is divided, and then it will reduce what you're paying all through the year. So you need to check your pension as well and make sure that is right. Now, on the last notes while I'm waiting, so this time now you can ask questions if you want. However, I'll just talk about stories of tax codes. So far, I've seen people receive, I think the highest I've seen so far is £4,000 just for a tax year. And the reason for that was this guy left his employment Okay, I had 2 jobs. One, he was using a BR in, and one, he was using his main task code in. And then he moved jobs, decided to start working properly on the other one that was the BR one. Left the other one, and at the end of the day, luckily for him, he was under self-assessment because he was a director. Then he was paying too much tax on the second one, and he was not using his tax code on the other one. So when I was doing this account about June or July, the next year now, he was getting £3,000 or almost £4,000 refund. And I see a lot of that all the time, £2,000. So one of the common reasons for that happening is because you've moved jobs, you've not informed HMRC. You're relying on your employer to do the right thing, but that does not mean they will do the right thing. Usually, they probably outsource the job, and so they don't know about it. And don't say, oh, I work for a big organization, it's not going to happen. Oh my God, I've seen it happen in big organizations, and then you'll be wondering, how did this happen? And I think my excuse for accountants is because it looks like it's a very easy job, or it's not, because it needs your mind 100%. And at times, because you're doing so much, you just get carried away, and then you forget about the right thing and checking the right thing. So usually for me, I slow down and be like, I tell all my team members that if you feel like just moving away from the payroll, just move, just do 5 at a time and come back. Because it's very easy to keep doing something monotonous and you don't even realize you've done a mistake, or you don't care about who's done the mistake. So because of that, it's very important. Imagine if that guy had that £3,000 of almost £4,000 all through the year. Although the money was helping now, however, he was paying too much tax in the last year. His take home was reduced because he didn't check his pay slip. So in summary, because my time is running, time does not wait for anyone. Yeah, I should say in 3 minutes. Today, check your pay slip, check your tax code, check the details on your pay slip if it's right or not. If you know where your payroll team is, ask them questions. And probably if you've received student loan and they're not deducting it, tell them, oh God, I say this all the time as well, you cannot hide. And that's the truth. You cannot hide. The last thing that will happen is you would then have to pay this money back later on. And it's usually a lot of money. I don't know about you, but HMRC coming for £4,000 from me now is like you're trying to kill me. It was not because you've not planned to give somebody £4,000 and they're coming for £4,000. So because of that, it's your personal responsibility. And lastly, I'll talk about all these tax avoidance schemes that is going on out there. Please, I'm begging you. I'm not even joking now. Except if you're really, really ready to deal with what would happen if HMRC should catch you, then enjoy it. However, your personal tax is your tax. 2 more minutes. It is not your agency. It is not your payroll team. It's your personal tax. And usually all these people that do this tax avoidance thing, they are nowhere to be found. They are in Isle of Man or they are somewhere. And then you are here and then you need to face HMRC for what happened. I hope this has helped. Next week I need to think about something I'll talk about. However, if you have something special that you'd want me to talk about, let me know. And I've got 2 more minutes. And 2 more minutes is, in case you're just joining, 1 more minute, okay. Thank you to all our teachers, we love you. And lastly, this week I downloaded an app on my phone. That's the last joke while I round up now. And this app is Drink Water app. Oh my God. And every 1 hour I will tell you drink water. You're supposed to drink 200 mils. I actually like it because if it wasn't telling me to drink water, I wouldn't drink water. But however, drink water, so I literally have to consciously put water in front of me and drink water. And toilets. Oh my God, don't let us get into that. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. If you've missed any part of this, I'm going to download it and upload it on my YouTube channel. If you want to subscribe, it's Ron's Accountant. I hope this has been helpful, and I hope this will help you sometime or help someone that you know, and this has shed a bit of more light to your payslip. Thank you very much. Have a lovely weekend. I hope it's going to be sunny. Now it's time to switch off this. How do this? Finish. Next one. End. Done end video. Oh God. How many people? I think I did more better than the last time.
Yeah, maybe one or two more people.
That was the outro.
The only thing you need is like a time in front of you. That's it. You don't need it here.
Yeah.
You still
Going over.
you go over or start early or so.
Yes, I do. I just leave the clock, the phone in front of me. So I'll just be looking several times. And my phone is dead now.
The time in the phone itself.